Howdy folks, this is Wild Bill. Welcome to Top Tips for the Modern Cowboy. The topic of today's video is learning to fold. Sooner or later in a cowboy's career, he's going to realize that it's necessary to actually make a very big laydown. Just because we have a hand doesn't mean we can always put all of the money in. Sometimes we just have to suck it up and actually fold and let our opponents win the pot. And we're actually going to save ourselves a lot of money if we can find the right situations to do this. So let's look at an example of a situation where we have a hand, but unfortunately we need to fold the hand, otherwise we risk losing a whole bunch of chips. Here we have a7 offsuit and we face a call from the player in the cutoff. And hopefully we realize that this is a very good spot to make an isolation raise. Ideally we'd like to get the pot heads up against one opponent if possible. That actually doesn't happen in this case. We get two callers and we have to play a flop three-way. And notice that we actually flop a hand in this case. And also notice that everyone checks to us on the flop. So we do have top pair, but it's not a very good top pair in this case. There are actually a bunch of hands that these players can have us beat. There's things like two pair, for example, something like 10 jack. There's things like straights. There's hands that don't necessarily have us directly beat, but have a very good chance of being the best hand by the river. For example, something like Queen Jack of Hearts has many outs against us, very likely to make a straight or flush by the river. We don't want to check in this particular hand because it's not a very good idea to let our opponents get to see the next card for free. It's just not in our advantage to do this. It's much better that we bet. Hopefully we can get called by many worse hands. If they fold, that's okay as well. We get to win the pot that way. Betting is going to be the best option. However, given that there is a reasonable chance that we are beat, we should keep our bet sizing on the small side. So we don't want to invest too many chips in this case. And the important thing to understand is we have to be willing to lay down our top pair here in the face of a raise. And in fact, this is exactly what happens. Deep Blues decides to put in a very large raise in this case. He raises to $285,000. At this stage, it really looks like he has a strong hand. He's very unlikely to do this with any hand weaker than the hand that we hold. At the very least, he's going to have a better ace than us. Much more likely he's going to have two pair or a straight. So this is the stage in our career where we just have to suck it up and accept that we are not going to win this pot. It's much better to fold right now than it is to lose an additional 300,000 chips. That's not going to be very good. And just for curiosity's sake, let's see what happens in this hand. So the other player actually calls in this case. And he actually shoves all in. Let's see what these players show up with. One player has king-queen, the other has aces. So we can see both players had very strong hands and we definitely made the correct decision to fold that top pair on the flop. Thanks very much for watching. This has been Wild Bill, the future governor of poker.